I was very shy. Girls scared me, but tractors didn't. So I was a tractor lover. I just always liked that sort of thing. I was a street racer. That's just, we raced on the streets and, in the 50s. And so some of us high school guys that I went to school with, we went to California. And I just stayed out there. I went to work and stayed there, lived there actually about 16 years. And it was all not as a professional racer. I just went to the dregs like you would go to the local racetrack with your car and nothing professional whatsoever, just having a good time. I liked to build the cars, and I would build a hot rod and take it to the drags and race it. And I had a business. I was a Goodyear tire dealer, and this guy became my friend, come in the shop all the time. And he was racing these things. It's called injected funny cars. They were like one category down from like a AA fuel funny car today. And he talked me into going to races with him a few times. And I'd go, like if you had the crankshaft a little closer to the ground, the engine tilted down a little bit, like it wouldn't carry the front end so much. And so I built this brand new car. Kenny Veney, and I was known by Kenny. Kenny Veney, he's just a good old boy, and we go to the race. And so I built my new car, and holy cow, I won the first race. And boy, the next week, we go out and we run wherever it was, and Kenny wins, and all these guys help me push it on the trailer. And then, we're all good buddies. And then the next week, we go out and race, and I win again. And a lot of my friends are helping me push it up on the trailer. And then about the fourth week in a row that I kicked some butt, it was like, go get some spectators to help push this thing on the trailer. Like all I was doing was racing. I was just traveling around the country racing, and the family, we all did it together. And I was able to make lots of power because I was always trying things, and I worked at it. I tried hard to do what I was doing, and I got to where I couldn't get a cylinder head, but I could make more power than what I could use because the heads would crack and fall apart. And I just decided, geez, I gotta do something. I had heads cast out of different material, and nothing was holding up. And then I got this brainstorm of taking a big old chunk of aluminum, a billet, a solid piece, and machine it into a head. And I did it, and it was really different from what heads were made in those days, and it made lots of power. And the first time I did it, I set the NHRA national record. And the second race I went to, I had 6 people that wanted the same thing, and this was 1978. And so every year at the end of the year, I sold my race car and built a new one. I had this good friend that said, look, I want to go to a tractor pull. I want to take you to a tractor pull. I go, I don't really care. So we went to a tractor pull, and I thought, well, that was kind of neat. It was, when I decide I'm too old and maybe I shouldn't go 250 mile an hour or something, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I had customers that were in tractor pulling. And these different customers in tractor pulling, in other words, I was making parts for them and got to know them pretty well. They talked me into going. And Brian Knox and I became pretty good friends. And he said, you need to do, it's time. You need to have you a dang old tractor. You need to do this. So I had a little one-engine tractor back in the mid-1990s. And I pulled it just a few times, and that wasn't going to get it. That wasn't fun enough. That was work without fun. And so, you know, trying to keep me into pulling, he's going, why don't you have a Mini? Then you can go and make a bunch of power, and it'll be an awesome drive. Minis are kind of violent, and they were in those days. That'd be more down your line, because he knew I had done a little late model dirt racing, and so I didn't know anything about a Mini. All I knew about was engines, and I bought a chassis and put together this Mini, and I ran it for 1 year, but there was only 7 pulls that year. And that wasn't going to get it. That was too much money in it and too much work to go pulling 7 times. So then I decided to build a modified. That'd be more fun. I'll build a modified. Maybe it won't be more fun driving it, but it'll be more fun building it. And anyway, I started doing that, and that was 1996, 1995, along in there. And that's when the Darryl Gwynn team talked me into going back to work for them. So the tractor just sat till 2000. And so that's how I got into modified. I don't know that I felt that I knew more than anyone else, which I absolutely did not. I just wanted to build my own tractor. And as most people know, my wife goes tractor pulling. Well, she goes, you always race funny cars, and funny cars look like funny cars. It was a total dragster racing car, but it had a funny car body on it. And so she said, if you're going tractor pulling, this thing's got to look like a tractor. So I decided, okay, I had to make something that looked like a tractor. So my 3-engine modified, I tried as much as I could to make it look like a tractor. I had a dashboard to come up like a 1066 and did the grill and the side panels. I did everything I could do to make it look like a pulling tractor. And so that's how the tractor thing came along.
My name's Teri Johenning. I'm Ken and Rona's daughter, and I got to go tractor pulling with them all year long. And it's always been the Ken and Rona show, except for this year it got to be Ken and Rona and Teri. So it was really neat. It was really a wonderful experience to be able to be with them. It was really neat this summer, all the people who just came up to me to tell me how much they love my parents, which you hear about it from your mom and you're thinking, that's nice, not any exaggeration at all. And it's just so neat to have been a part of that experience, and I was very blessed to be able to do that. He's not given up. He absolutely has not given up. He was diagnosed in 2021, ended up winning the championship that year, and then had to go through the cancer treatment and having some big parts taken out of him, and to come back from that and to do immunotherapy, and that's been since 2022, and he's done okay. He was going through his immunotherapy. Something made everything go wacky. He ended up being in the hospital for a week. And this was really hard. It was really hard on him. He had AFib. And he gets this team of doctors that want to do this and want to do that. And he had a tractor pull he wanted to go to. And, they're hemming and hawing, and they wanted to run another test on him. He's like, you know what? We can run that test, but I need to go. I've been here long enough. You're in the hospital. The longer you're there, the weaker you get. I got to go. And he checked out of the hospital. And as coincidence would have it, I was walking out of the hospital, and his doctor happened to be walking right along at the same time. His office was right there. So I asked him, so what do you think of all this, the tractor pulling, which he had no idea really what he was saying yes to. But I was like, what do you think? And he says, you have to live your life. He's in the hospital on Wednesday. Friday, he's out on the tractor pull, kicking tail. He was doing it. And I wish I was a better statistician to tell you how well he did that year, but he won that Fort Recovery we were just talking about. Here he was, he wins at Bowling Green. He didn't win both nights, but he won at Bowling Green. I mean, wow, to have that, what did he win, like 5 of the 7 he went to, he won? I mean, wow, that's really awesome. So we go to the 2024 season. I'm like filling out all the information on the computer, and naturally I go over it with him to say, so I filled out this and this and no points. And he's like, what do you mean no points? I'm pulling for points. I'm like, okay, I'll change the box. No big deal. And what do you know? Second in points right there. Had a killer, awesome season. It was, that was great. He does all of the driving and all of the work. Yes, he does help through Marty, but they hear the everyday, that's him. So what did he want to do? It was up to him. And he didn't take that as an answer. And he asked me again the next day. And I was like, what do you want to do? And what I said was, never give up. Never give up. And like, that's not you, Dad. You don't give up. You need to finish the race and fight the good fight. You cannot go through an off season and wonder, what if, because you're talking to us October. What if we were sitting here right now wondering, what if we just done, what if we did this? What if we did that? You need to know for sure. And he did know. I mean, look how great he did.
I'll tell you something that impresses me is to think that when I did what I did racing, I was as good as anyone. Maybe I wasn't the absolute best, but I did good. And whether it was driving, I was probably okay. I don't know, but as far as tuning, I could do really good. And I think the thing that's, when I have to talk about impressing, like I impress myself to think that now as a mini puller, I can go out there and I can compete with all the guys that are bad dudes. The ones that are awesome, kicking butt, I can be right with them. As long as my attitude's right and I go at it, I think to me that impresses me that I can do that pretty good. And when I had a 3-motor tractor, I could figure out what it takes to make it do good. You have to do the best you can possibly do. So if I go to the race and I do good, that's great. If I don't do good and I tried hard, I'm not a powder. I tried as hard as I could, and that was the best I could do on that day.